Hello everybody and welcome back to another VOD review. I'm very excited to bring this to you because Overwatch 2 is right over the horizon. I think we might be getting another beta in August, I'm not quite sure. But, you know, tank concepts still apply and we're going to be doing a tank VOD review, which is something that we do every once in a blue moon, but you know, here it is. Today we're going to be reviewing a good friend and a very active member of the community, Zombie, who in this game is named I Hate Diamond, which I'm sure a lot of people hate the diamond grind. But if you want to introduce yourself, go right ahead, Zombie.
Hi, my name is Zombie. I am a 3.5, 3.6 peak main tank player, and I've scrimmed in like Masters to GM, but I've always been stuck in around Diamond to low Masters, so looking to try to find imperfections in my gameplay and try to improve before Overwatch 2 comes out.
Yeah, I definitely think that this elo is like that moment where understanding the game as tank and understanding how to really command the game is such an important asset to your team, and if you can learn that, GM is very, very much attainable. The problem is, learning that in Masters is really difficult because there's no good content for Masters players, to be quite honest with you, and I mean, now we're here, so we'll start talking. Do you have any questions before we start? Do you have anything that you think you're doing wrong, maybe, that you want to get better at?
One thing that I know for a fact that I'm doing wrong, I've had like a couple people point this out to me, is I don't really look at my team much as main tank. It's something that I know on Sigma to do because I know when Sigma's downtime is, but I don't know it on main tanks, and so I don't have a good grasp of where my team is a lot of the time.
Okay, and how to utilize them best.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's actually one of the most important things to understand, so I hopefully can teach you that. So the first thing I want to do, if we're good to go into this VOD review, is talk about your team and their team, what you have to be looking out for, tempos, yada yada yada, some. So, do you play ball at all, or is ball like a character that's just like, I don't want to play ball, that character, I have no clue what's going on?
No, I'm pretty comfortable on ball.
Okay, so that's good. That's good, because ball is one of those characters that will give you a lot of options and that you can understand, because this comp that you're playing right now, I do not think is very monkey friendly because you have a hog and you don't really have a whole lot of options to be really, really aggressive. I think ball would be better because he can kind of do things on his own and doesn't need the support from his off tank, but it's not the end of the world because, again, this is Masters, so we can talk about things. And talk about really how tempos work and what your team wants to do. Because by knowing what your team wants to do, it'll guide how you're going to be playing on literally any role in the game. In the game. Excuse me. Anyways, so what does Hog want to do? How does Hog best perform? Where does Hog like to be?
He likes to be on off angles.
Yes.
Try to get
exactly.
picks.
That's his whole thing. His whole quote-unquote space maintaining is just by getting picks on off angles and applying pressure. So whether you want to say that he's a tank or a DPS, that's up to you, but he has lots of health, so Blizzard would be like, yeah, he tank. Whatever. Does Soldier kind of act the same way?
Yeah.
Yeah. But why can Soldier take off angles?
Because he has the legs.
Yes, he does have the
mobility.
He do be having legs.
And he has self-heal.
So yeah, he do be having the legs, which allows him to get to a lot of different angles very, very fast. So I mean, you're not dumb, which is good, because a lot of people, I wouldn't say they're dumb for not knowing this, but a lot of people don't understand that. So at least I can understand how you get that. Maybe we're just not applying it. I don't know. Ana Zen is definitely, you're not as safe in the backline. So here's something that can happen, right? When you see an Ana Zen and you don't have a Brig, you understand your backline isn't super safe, and you also don't have a Diva. So if shit hits the fan, for lack of a better term, that could be an indication that you might want to play a little bit more passive and use your jump to actually push something off of your supports. Because if your supports can live, Ana and Zen combo, if they're mechanically strong, will carry games. Like, I used to play with Skyward back in attack mode. He was the flex support. He would play Zen, I'd play Ana, and we would just hit 4-4 by just playing Ana Zen, because we would just out-mechanic the entire lobby. Thing is, you would need to support your team to do that, and it's not necessarily conventional. So, if you don't understand how to play around your team, understanding, wait, my backline isn't so safe, maybe I need to lean off the gas a little bit, especially if I have a hog, and try to just support them to get angles and let them carry me. Allow yourself to help your team carry you, kind of thing. And sometimes that's the best way to do it, because then you're carrying by letting them carry. And Echo is just kind of like, okay, whatever, do your own thing. Zen could take off angles, but these people are pretty much just going to be a unit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And, I mean, obviously you're going to be trying to play to get Nano with Ana whenever you're playing as Monkey, but as we go into the VOD, you'll see why I'm talking about this. It's very hard for me to say, like, hey, you have to play this certain way without telling you how to do that. The enemy team has a Bab Zen, so things that you might want to be looking to force out are what? Or is
probably
what?
Immortality and Trance.
Yes. The big thing that you want to make sure you're pressuring, especially against BAP, is just Immortality Field. You don't have to kill. The moment you get Immortality Field out, you pretty much win. Because now he's very, very useless into dive. So the moment that you can just kind of pressure him, you don't have to jump on him. You can just soft dive, drop off a high ground, and then jump out. Stuff like that is stuff to look for. The other thing that you have to also understand is that their dive is going to be stronger than yours. So again, your backline's at a little bit more of it's a little more of a liability if they start to kind of just not counter that. So make sure that you're keeping an eye on how hard are my supports dying. Do I need to allocate more resources to them? I mean, it's not conventional, but ladder's not conventional. No one is scrimming all the time in ladder unless you're like 4 or 5, and there you go. So you get to start.
Yes.
Okay, so I do like how you're starting off on this high ground because you're not going to be investing anything into this, and you're just going to be looking to find value. Like, this is a totally fine place to start. It's valid. Let's go. I want to see how you use this high ground though to your advantage. Okay, we're just chilling. Okay, the bubble probably wasn't necessary, to be quite honest, because your team wasn't going to die. The reason why I'm saying this is now you're putting yourself at risk, because when you want to drop on point and maybe try to force out this Immortality Field later, you can't stay for as long. So that's something to definitely look for. Bubble is not something that you just want to toss around. They only had a Diva and a Monkey. You weren't really going to be taking a lot of damage. You can just kind of meat shield this and your Ana can heal it up. So yeah, now you're forced to just stay up here for another 6 seconds, which isn't terrible, but it doesn't give you options if a different situation happens. Now, if they sim TP a Hog up there, yeah, use your bubble. Obviously, that makes sense. Or if there's like a Genji or something that can actually like just kill you, that's when you should use the bubble then. See, the thing is, I don't love how non-aggressive this is. I just think if you play on this, if you want to, you can play on this, especially if their supports aren't already on high ground. This is a great moment for when they try to jump on your back line, you can just drop on theirs. They try to turn on you, and then you just drop back up here. You maintain high ground, and now they don't have high ground because you forced them off. Stuff like that, it's like thinking 5 million steps ahead, but it really, it counts. It adds up. Right here, you don't really do anything as Winston. You're just kind of poking him, and it doesn't really make that big a difference. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And it also makes your team have a really hard time finding angles. Like no one's finding angles right now because no real space was like made for them, and it's not really an off angle. It's really just feeding. It's flanking. There's a difference between flanking and off angling. You want to make their off angles, not flanks. I mean, it can still work in Masters, but you know. So yeah, right here you're just not really getting a whole lot of aggressive value. I mean, you're still getting value. It just could be a little bit more. This is fine if you just want to zap. No one's really taking the high ground. To be honest, your enemies are playing this really poorly, so you're getting away with it. This is a hard commit. Just understand this. When you don't have things to hard commit with, you don't have anyone to help you other than like maybe Echo. So like jumping into the enemy is something you want to try to avoid. You want to go for more of those soft engagements where you're dropping off of high ground and using jump to get out, not to get in.
Okay.
The thing is, this is fine-ish. It's just like, it's very risky, and understand you're putting yourself at a liability. If the enemy team was better, they'd probably just turn on you and you die. Because you don't have primal, and that's what happens. See? Immediately after, they're just like, oh shit, he doesn't have anyone to support him, he's just dead. Even though you force out the BAP, if you die, it doesn't really matter because now there's no pressure on him because no one's going to really be diving him. If it was ball, it's a different situation because you can get out after and you don't need the support, which is why I think the ball is better into this comp. But if you're going to play for Monkey, like, understand the soft dives are where he really shines over ball. So you got to use it to the best. But what were you saying?
I was going to say, I think it was like there that it just kind of registered with me that like I didn't have a diva, and that's like whatever. But I could probably make like stupid plays like that if I had a diva, because diva could just bail me out.
Even if
like,
diva goes in with you, like hard engaging there might not be the best, especially when you
Yeah.
already have a pick. I think the real mistake that we should be talking about is the fact that we weren't doing any soft dives behind them and forcing them off cart. The thing is,
That's
usually
true.
the monkey would be on cart, and then he's just doing like a monkey battle. He jumps into your team, and then you jump on top of him, and he dies. That's typically like what the matchup is there, or that you're like soft diving DPS off of that bridge high ground. None of that happened because it's Masters. So if you play the right way, it'll do even more than what it usually should do. And we'll talk about the quote unquote right way when you're on attack, and it will make more sense. But yeah, let's keep going. I like how you take high ground. Understanding that high ground is important on watch point. It is the most important thing to hold on this map. If you don't hold it, you lose. But again, this is one of those moments. It's like sound cues, knowing where they're going, just knowing where DPS are commonly going, so you can maybe like just soft force them out. It's always something to do instead of just like standing around and understanding how you want to stage the fight. So yep, monkey jumps up again. You're just forcing him out. Again, bubble. You're not taking any damage. They're not really shooting you. I get that the Widow's up there, or Widow is down there and could possibly kill you. You might want to try to block the dynamite. I want you to put more conscious thought into the bubbles and not just throw it around, because especially when you're soft diving, like that buys you that extra little bit of time that's going to help you actually maybe find a pick. So it's kind of like Immortality Field in terms of like thinking about when you really need to use it. But the more conscious you're with it, you'll start to realize there's better ways to use it.
Alright.
It's not the biggest problem in the world. So like right here, yep, you do actually find the bubble, and you also have Primal, so I'm okay with this. Okay, execution for your team could have been better, just 100%. But now that you have the resources to actually hard engage, this is one of those moments in which you can. Because you have Primal, you can into the backline. Because if they try to turn on you, you're creating space for your team, and you can continue that pressure with Primal, which wins you the fight. So like, you had Bubble, and then you also had Primal. You can realistically just live in the backline now. I'm okay with you being aggressive, even if you don't have the support. You do force out the Trank. Honestly, this just could have been better on like communicating with your Ana maybe. I don't think the Nano was the right call, especially if you're going to be losing this fight. But you did force out the Trank. At this point, I would just die or try to jump to a health pack. But that's such a nitpick, I'm not going to worry about that. The more important thing to worry about is how we're thinking through situations and how we can get better about that. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay, you jump in. You're just chilling on cart. That's fine. You see the Zen in the back. You jump on Zen. You do the melee tech. This is a good bubble. Now see how because you didn't use bubble, you didn't die to the Zen, and it was such a free kill. So using a more conscious bubble will make your dives better, especially when you're diving alone. Now, I'm not saying you should never use bubble in situations in which you're using bubble. I just want you to think about it a little bit more so that you have that resource for yourself. Especially if you're going to engage. If you're going to engage, and you're going to very much hard engage, that bubble is almost a must to have. Unless you have Primal. Even when you have the support, like, you really do want the bubble. But what were you saying?
So just trying to, like, not really use bubble in, like, the poke phase and try to, like, find soft dives onto their team, like, without having to use jump. Like, trying to find ways to get to their team without using
like, you don't want to be forced to use cooldowns. You just don't. You just want to make sure you're using bubble in a situation where it's very much needed. It's on a 10-second cooldown. It's a very important thing to have when you engage. Just don't throw it away just because, oh, I'm taking 200 damage. Oh shit, I need to use bubble. Oh, well now I don't have anything, and now they just, yeah. It's very hard in this situation because you don't have Zarya, and you're being put into a difficult situation where you need to play Winston near perfectly. But at the end of the day, Winston's probably the hardest character to play in this game. In all honesty, he is probably the hardest character in the game. So, with good reason, that's why stuff so small like this means so much. Because it's just difficult. And I will die on that hill. If I get any comments, Winston's easy, he doesn't have to aim. Hit GM on Winston only. Hit GM on Winston only and tell me. Tell me you can do that. And if you can, I just don't think you'll have that opinion because you'll know that Winston, there's a lot that goes into that character. But okay, let's keep going. Right here, I think a jump onto the Widow is great. Yep. That's fine, because realistically, you don't really need bubble against Widow. You could have butt jumped her But I'm not going to get into that. That's mechanical shit. You can get better at that. And I'm sure you understand what a butt jump is.
Yeah.
You're a tech nerd.
head
You're a
hitbox
tech
away.
nerd. You watch Get Quaked on.
Yeah.
You know techs more than I do, probably. So I don't need to lecture you on whatever the fuck that is. Just saying in your on his LOS and getting heals here. That's fine. Maintaining high ground. Also fine. I don't love how exposed you are. Just because if this hog turns the corner, you will get hooked. I think there's just better ways to play that high ground. Just keep that in mind, that you don't want to take unnecessary damage, especially against a hog. And knowing that they do have a hog, making sure you're trying to bait hook, and then you can engage after he uses hook, because then he can't stop you. Kind of stuff like that to think about.
Yeah.
So yeah, now that he used hook, now's your time which you can jump the high ground. I think this was a little non-aggressive, because if they can't really get up to you unless they took this weird rotation, in which they probably won't, because they're not on blue box. I think staying here is fine and just cleaving, because now he doesn't have that. You can look for free, easy cleave to just pressure. I think this was an okay jump, though. It was better than other jumps you've had. I just think it could have been a little bit more forward-facing, especially since you have Primal. So like right here is one of those moments, like, apply pressure. Don't let them just rotate for free. Make them think about it. You have Primal, so even if they like hook you, you can Primal their supports or DPS out. You can be more aggressive here. You have the Primal. And they almost, I mean, okay, you're playing for Nano. That's fine. But I still think you could be more aggressive, because that also gets you Nano faster. So just things to think about.
Yeah,
if you take damage, like, you don't need to play like a pussy ever. You never want to play like a pussy unless there's like really good reason for it. And this is not good. You got to be like Andrew Tate up in this joint. Except not be an asshole and do illegal things. You know. You gotta enter your Andrew Tate arc on the monkey sometimes. It's such a bad analogy, but... Alright, so you end up actually taking the jump. You get a nano. Target priority there. Yeah, target priority could be better, but that just comes with time. You see the Zen one shot, and he doesn't have Trank. Okay, mechanically, that was bad.
Yeah.
You understand that? At the end of the day, how do you fix that? You practice a lot. Mechanically, that could have been much better. That's all I can say about that. But the thing is, beforehand, if we would have maybe poked a little more, we would have had more information. Let's look at the macro sides of things rather than the micro. Maybe we could have played that better mentally, and it would have actually helped you get more value there. So, practice and value, whatever. Okay, let's see how we use this bubble. I usually would stop here, but okay. We jump on the high ground. We say, soldier, BAP, bubble. Instead of, maybe this BAP gets a little overconfident that he's hitting shots on you, and he doesn't know you almost have jump. You jump on BAP with bubble, he forces out ammo. Wow, you just won. You know, stuff like that. It's an alternative way to use bubble instead of, I'm scared! I'm gonna die! More like, dude, shoot me, bro. What the fuck are you gonna do? You get my on a nano? I jump on you and kill you. Easy clap, bro. Chad main tank style. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a little bit too much emotion there, but I think it gets the point across.
Nah, I think it was just enough.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, obviously the BAP leaves here. A better BAP would not leave there. They'd get overconfident, and you could maybe force something out there. Now, if your Echo's about to die, like, low-key kind of on her, but if you need to use the bubble to save her, you need to use the bubble to save her, but she realistically isn't going to die there. And if she flames you for not bubbling, it's like BAP Imo. People are going to flame you and ladder all the time for it, but it's like, dude, literally, fuck you. You made the mistake. That's not my problem. That did get me into a lot of drama with people, though, so maybe you try to avoid that. I don't know. Taking high ground again is fine. To be honest, I don't think you needed to drop off to begin with. I still don't think you needed to drop off there. You have Primal. Like, you don't need to be scared. You also have Bubble. Like, don't be so passive. You can make your presence known, because by being so passive, you're not really helping your team gain any space. And then they're very restricted, and it's hard for them to get angles. So you need to make a lot of space for your team. And then on top of that, your team actually needs to take that. You're not used to your team actually taking that for you, but that doesn't mean it's an excuse for you to not do your job. If they don't do their job, whatever, you know? But you need to do your job first. Making sure the ship is controlled by you, and they have to actually use cooldowns to get you off of it, that's important. You can't just let them jump once and be like, oh, hey guys, I'm on high ground. Like, we won. High ground's the most important thing. You give your life for high ground. I give my life for Pakistan. Like, that's the reference. Give your life for high ground. Yeah, so we jump on high ground here. For some reason, the monkey jumped off. You use bubble. You be aggressive. Yeah, okay, this is good. Execution could have been a lot better earlier on. But still, understanding base, it's okay. Okay, you forced that. I think that's fine. You forced strength for dying, whatever. You would not have died if you just held high ground better. That's how simple that is. Let's keep going in here. Oh, you switched to ball. You switched to ball. Nice. Okay. You play some ball. Let's see how you do this. Going on the recontest. Oh wow, your monkey or your soldier dies. Okay, I like that. Force this motherfucker off. Wow, your aim is like not bad. It's not great like God tier, but it's not bad. You roll through, that's fine. Okay, we're just vibing, waiting to get Discord off. Okay, I was really nervous you were gonna boop him into your team, but you didn't. Unlucky that the thing stopped that. You need payload's your job, my guy.
Yeah.
That's on you. Overall, it wasn't the worst ball run ever. I can tell that your ball seems to be a lot better than your monkey in this comp. Because, I mean, ball suits this comp a lot better. Because it allows for just easier solo play when you have a hog and people are taking angles. It's a lot easier to set your team up. That's not to say that your Winston couldn't have been better.
Yeah.
So I don't want to make that be an excuse.
Yeah.
How the fuck are you alive still? What happened? Oh, you're just giving your on a... Are you giving your Zen trank?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could argue that. The thing is, they don't have anything that he really needs trank for. Honestly, I would just say making sure they don't get high ground might be more beneficial here. It could go either way. We're going to see how this fight pans out and whether that might be based or cringe. Maybe it was based. Your team's kind of trolling. I don't know. Okay, yep. Yeah, but now you can't. What? I don't know. I probably would have just played to heal and like take space. If I knew they had like Nano Blade and we needed Trank and it was like a really big deal, maybe I would switch it up. Sorry, that's like very blinding. If it was a big deal that he gets Trank, I think you go for it. I think in other situations, I probably would just take the high ground and just try to take a better engagement. And making sure that, because your team's going to play aggressive there, maybe like setting up space rather than just getting Trank. That's kind of a toss-up. I'm not really going to hard coach that. In coordinated play, that could be based. Yeah, right now, it's just going to go downhill. Wait, you did trade. Okay, yep, I like this. That is textbook good shit. Forcing out Trank, textbook good shit. Yep, you're forcing out cooldowns, great. Movement could be a little bit cleaner, but you're not a ball player. One trick, so... Yeah, that was good. That was good execution. You recognized that BAP was the threat, you forced them off of that, and you went from there. That was good. A lot of GM tanks don't think like that, so... There you go.
I think here I'm just getting like support ultimate.
Yeah, I just think you can get support ultimate while also like setting up for the next fight, in my opinion. I mean, maybe it's just because support suck in Masters, I don't know, but... Alright, we're just chilling here, it's fine. You hear someone coming behind you. Well, I guess you don't. Yeah, I'd honestly just be trying to go on that Zen. You know he doesn't have Trank. In that moment, I would say the Zen would force out the immortality much faster. But Silent J doing God's work on the hog.
That big sleeve.
Holy shit, that was insane. That was a really good grapple. I still think you could have just not helped your team with Hog. You're not realistically going to do enough damage that it's going to make a difference. I think you just go for the visor on high ground and force that out instead. But hey, you still did force it out. I just think forcing it out would have been a better play earlier on.
Yeah.
Especially if she had anti.
Not let him have that space.
Okay, I disagree. I just disagree. I just disagree. Your ball is doing well. I don't think the comfort switch is needed. How much mines did you have too? I mean, I guess if you wanted to take a brawl on point, if it was last fight, maybe, but it's not last fight. I don't know. You're doing well on ball. I just don't think the comfort switch is needed. I mean, you do have a cast, so maybe you're thinking that, but still, I think ball is better. All right, but let's see how you take the Rhine play. You do play the choke, so obviously you're comfortable in Rhine. You understand what you're doing. Okay. Yep, you're a Rhine player. We get it! You play Rhine! Okay, but you're playing like a pussy. Play more aggressive on Rhine. Don't let them have this corner for free. Don't let that hog have the distance to hook. Don't let them breathe. You're Rhine. Big chat energy. You're giving up way too much space. Like right here is where you want to be the whole time. All right, yep, you're nano. Now you're going hard. Yep, no, okay, well, at least you know it'd be hard when you're nanoing. Hey, yo. Yeah, it could have been harder, faster. Okay, I'm just saying shit at this point, but you understand what I'm saying. Hold that choke.
Yeah.
Now he goes Ryan. What is this like contract? This tank contract. They see Ryan. All right, we're doing it.
They gotta tempt the Rhine.
I'm seeing a pin here. Never mind, I'm not seeing a pin here. Oh, I'm seeing you not being aggressive enough on the choke that you could have just pinned through that window and not let them have value, and now they're gonna win. Yeah, okay. I think you being aggressive is definitely a problem on any character that's not ball. Or maybe Doomfist in Overwatch 2. All right, big shatter incoming.
Well, here I
fucking huge shatter.
I knew they had trance, so I just really wanted to force it. That was pretty much all I wanted to do with that shatter.
Yeah, that was a good trick, or a good shatter. You're gonna get away with it because of mechanics at the end here, but at the start of that fight, you just need to be more aggressive. Stop being pussy.
Initiating match.
I can't wait for you to hold up. Yeah, sorry, I can send a line of coke to you, but yeah, okay. If you ever play with like one of my like memory, he would be so pissed that you'd be like, Ryan, monkey, stop being pussy. Stop being pussy. Go in!
He likes a player with a big ball.
Yes, he does. That's why he likes DMT, and that's why. And Jerry is his baby, the Tracer player. There's a lot of Penn State lore people don't know about.
The Penn State lore.
Yeah, the Penn State lore. The double meat taco and Jerry is Memory's baby. But anyways, yeah, I think just being making sure your presence is known and pushing your limits in terms of aggressive behavior is very important. And your ball's not bad, so in this situation, play ball. Play ball! It's even though you have Ana, like, I just think the ball is better.
Yeah,
unless your Ana's like really good, but your Anas aren't going to be good, and they're never going to be good. Ana players are terrible, myself included. Like,
I think I'm like comfortable playing ball, and especially like in a coordinated environment. But it's just like I don't seem to find as much success playing ball in ladder, and I think of it, well, obviously because I make a lot of mistakes, but also I don't think people really know how to play with ball. I mean,
they don't, but I don't know. You were getting a lot more value on the ball. You don't need to kill things. I think you need to understand you do not need to kill things to carry games. And people don't realize that. They look at the kill feed and that's it. But by you forcing BAP off of that window, you effectively save your team from 3 deaths. By making pressure in the back line, even if you don't kill them, the front line isn't getting heals and then they die. There are ways to influence the game that people do not recognize. And you need to start thinking more about that. Like, aggressive behavior does not mean, I'm going to kill 6! It means a lot more than that. It means by how are you affecting the fight that's going on elsewhere? How are you letting your teammates breathe a little bit? And give them the space to actually do what they want to do, like flank. Or go on off angles,
Yeah.
So, let's talk about that then here. So, the most important thing on watch point is maintaining high ground. I want to see how you do this. Okay, this is fine to start. You're the one on payload for most of first point. Why?
Because I have easy access to high ground.
Okay, wow. Okay, just be smart. All right, fine. You can jump to high ground. So, in voice chat, the most important thing to tell your team is take high ground. I will stay on cart until fight starts, and then I'll jump up. Force them off high ground. You guys get high ground control, and then I just push cart again. So let's see if you do that. Nope, you don't do that. You go on high ground here. This is not your job. This is not your job. Your job as Monkey is to push payload until it gets to this corner, in which your team will now be here. You jump high ground. You force them to jump off. Your team go in, kill thing, and now you're here, and you win game. That's how it
Gotcha.
works. Your job is not to walk up on high ground. You have cool monkey space pack thing. So now you get no value because your team didn't walk on high ground, and no one understands how to play this map, and it's so annoying. And yep. Yep. This is so aggravating to watch because it happens in 4300 too. No one knows how to play this map, especially in NA. Like, holy shit, it's not rocket science. Put your monkey on cart and take high ground. It's not, guys. I've made like 6 videos at this point, and people still are doing it.
I'm so NA, dude.
There's a lot more I could go into, but we didn't even get to that point because no one's even taking high ground to begin with. Yeah, and then you're just gonna. God, I can't.
Well, actually, the hog dies there.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't conventional. The first mistake still stands, and I'm just gonna keep bickering about it. So, like now, yeah, sure, your team's pushing that. You can maintain the high ground. If you choose not to, and you choose to jump to get in, you still win. The right play there is stay on high ground, drop off of high ground, and then jump to get out if you need.
This will protect us.
That's a good jump. Yep, okay, cool. It was just a cleanup jump, so it was kind of just given to you. You're holding high ground, which is good. You use shield in a situation in which you were being aggressive. Right now, you can literally, instead of just walking around being like, okay, team, what's the next step? Just jump up here and start here. Because then if they go a little bit too aggressive on the high ground, you drop off, zap, 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 jump out. Or you can just jump in, do more damage, primal, get these people off the map. It's better than just like, okay, guys, what's next? An important thing as Winston is make sure that you can try to get high ground without actually using jump. Especially when they're giving you time to do that. Because then you can use the jump to get out and it allows you to be more aggressive. That's why controlling high ground is really good as Winston. Because then you don't need to use the jump to get in. It's not like you only have one ticket. You have a ticket out instead of a ticket in. You have a get out of jail free card. What's another analogy here? You have a guardian angel in Among Us. That's all I'm going to go with this. Are we good to keep going?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have a question?
No, I don't think so right now.
Okay, let's keep going. It just sounded like you kind of did. So yeah, you drop off of high ground. Now you have to use your shit to engage. I mean, you have nano, so you get away with it, but just imagine what could have happened. Because then you could have used your jump to be more aggressive here. Yada, yada, yada. Some. But you still pop off. That's boggies. Okay, yep. You know, jumping when the hog's ulting is not the smartest, but I'm sure you understand that. That actually might lose you the game. Yeah, that's going to lose you the game for jumping, because then your team died, and... Yeah, I guess... I just think... Again, we focus on the stuff at the start of the fight, and just how you could have done more. It would have applied more pressure, and who knows, it would have made it so that maybe they couldn't have been so aggressive on your team, and they wouldn't have died. It's stuff like that. And to be honest, the fight starts poorly off of the main tank's accord. So it's really important that you don't make these silly mistakes that you'll probably just get better at in the day and then BGM.
Yeah. Because because once it's like one of those things, like once you point it out, it's like, it's really easy to spot. And it's like such an easy like fix too, at least I
yeah,
think
it's the main part is easy enough to fix, but the whole bubble thing and how you're actually going to execute it against different comps, like this comp, doing a soft dive and understanding when it's time to pounce is hard. But now that it's a seedling in your mind, it will actually grow into something that will be much easier to understand. You can just do.
Yeah.
But the initial thing of learning it, it's like, oh, well, why the hell wasn't I doing that? Like, it's something now that the concept makes sense. That's what the sign is here. But you have Primal, you can be very aggressive if you want to. You jump on high ground, immediately drop off onto the Mercy. That was really good because it made it seem like you weren't going for that, so they were kind of caught off guard. You could have been more aggressive there, but you wouldn't have really done anything by being aggressive, so I kind of like this. I think you could have tried to juggle the Mercy a little harder, but it ain't the end of the world. That was good execution, just like making space for your team, which they should kill the Hog here. Surely. Yeah, okay. Took him a little bit of time, but that was on you. That hog pick was your doing. And also the 2 picks before that were your doing. So do that. Like, it wasn't perfect execution, but it was a little bit better. And from a plat viewer perspective, that'll be on my videos like, wow, you suck, Paz, in this Moira video. You're not doing anything. You don't understand how much I'm doing. It just doesn't come up on the kill feed. It's the same thing you're doing here. Wow, this guy didn't get any kills on Monkey. He didn't kill 6 like my favorite streamer, I don't know, Boger.
XQC.
Which he's good. XQC, yeah, that's a better one. He didn't kill 6. He didn't go El Goblino mode like, you know? He didn't do anything. He sucks. No, he's actually carrying the fucking game right now. You just don't understand that. Like, you have to understand that as well. And I think a lot of players don't understand that, and if they're not killing 6, they're throwing. So you did a lot for your team right here. No shot. You shot. No shot. Okay. No shot. Yeah, okay. Your Zen should not have died there, but I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Knowing that the hog's going bottom right. Yep, okay, cool.
Yeah, bubble just because I heard him and I didn't want to.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I obviously didn't need to, but
yeah.
Whatever. You understand it. It's
and then
very
here, I called him like, wait, this hog is like really far forward. Like, can we find a sleep on him or like can we find a sleep or a nade on him? And then our May actually just kind of carries here because she W's into this hog. And then we just clean up on.
That's
him.
a fine bubble.
Literally a free pick on a tank.
Yeah. This, it's not the hardest of situations to do well in, but you're doing well. So poggers.
I don't know why I did that. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really need to say anything because now you can kind of see like, you can start thinking about how bubble should be used. Yeah, right here I'd just be walking up to their spawn and like spawn holding, so you can jump out if you need. Not jumping into spawn, which is what you're about to do. I mean, you could have applied more pressure for 5 seconds before this and also gotten primal. But yeah, you win the game. Overall, not terrible. Not terrible. The thing is, when you fix these mistakes or you at least start thinking about them, I think you'll do a lot better. Because I don't think you're dumb. I think you're actually a very smart player. It's more so just setting yourself up. You're almost too smart that you're like, oh my god, if I die, I'm losing. Oh my god, I'm scared to die. I'm scared to die and not carry my team. But then you don't do anything and you're effectively dead. So the most important thing is aggro and understanding that you can be more aggressive on the Monkey. And really every character, Ryan as well. Like, position yourself aggressively, but not so dumb. Like, here's the thing. There's a difference between being aggressive and feeding. Like, okay, I'm not going to name drop, but there are people that play to feed. And it works in coordinated settings sometimes because then your team can follow up on it. But it's harder on your team, and it's more so that your weakness is your main tank. And then you're making up for that with your insane backline or DPS. That's when you're feeding playstyle. The aggro playstyle is just like, be a Chad. Literally just be Chad. And like, you will feed sometimes, but you'll get better at being Chad, and then your Chad energy, and oh my god, all the Mercy mains want to get that 4-6. I wouldn't go as far to say it's limit testing, because limit testing is a much more aggressive way of putting it in terms of the execution, and you're not at that level yet. I know Shocker loves to use that limit testing term. I've never seen his actual limit testing capabilities because sometimes maybe he just be feeding. Yeah. I think you were watching that one scrim. He's on Zen. Yeah, dude, I'm just gonna flank. I killed 3, bro. I'm limit testing. That's not really limit testing. Limit testing, I guess I could make a video on, but I don't want to just because. Don't think of it as limit testing. Limit testing is a very risky way of improving, but you can get to a point in which that is what you need to do, and I don't think you're at that point yet.
Okay.
I was never at that point either of limit testing. I guess I was getting close. I think I was getting close. I don't know. I'd have to talk to Poke about that one. I think I did. I did at the end start limit testing, just because my mechanics are kind of holding me back. But yeah, it's more so just like the way the game should work. You should be more aggressive. Like you have the opportunity to be, and it's very clear. Now, limit testing is the idea of how much better are you than your opponent that you can get away with shit that you really shouldn't be able to, and understanding who your opponent is and understanding the name and like getting away with shit. which obviously is not your level because you're not 4-6. But when you get to those 4-6 scrims, it's like, how shit is their backline? How far can I go without using bubble? How long can I go without using jump?
Yeah, how little do these guys pay attention?
Yeah,
to
how
things?
dog shit are these enemies? That's the whole idea of limit testing in a main tank sense. I mean, obviously there's more to it that I don't know because I'm not a main tank, but that's kind of what I would understand. The second thing is bubble, and understanding a few things with bubble, like, am I in any danger? Is my support in any danger? Yada yada yada. That's the first step. That's the most simple step of bubble. Do I really need to use this? And then the secondary part of bubble is, am I engaging on a target? If I bubble, do I kill this? The third thing is, if I bubble this, how can I block beats? Like, jump bubble to block beats. That's the hardest thing to do. I've seen Crimson do that shit. He's fucking insane. It's hard, but that's another use of bubble. The other thing, how can I cut off heals? How can I cut off transcendence into this grav? Where do I place this bubble so it has the best area of effect to stop it from doing that? You're not even close to that level yet, and that's totally fine. That's like a God Winston level, and you're a Ryan player. You acknowledge that. Like, that level is where you could get to. Just understand the steps here. The first one, understanding the threat level here. Do I need to use bubble in this poke situation, or could I position myself better? Or does my team need this, or could they position themselves better? Great, okay, I'm being aggressive, I'm diving. Am I gonna die if I don't use bubble, or can I finish this off because they're low enough? Do I need a bubble dance? You fix that? How can I use this bubble and place it perfectly so it stops healing? And then I can just drop a bubble in a 1v1 and then jump into a backline with Primal. How can I literally maximize my use of bubble? That's the very last step. Understand that step might take years for you to get better at. Because, like, again, Winston's the hardest character in the game. I guess my last tip, because you're a tank player, would be like, play more, lol. Just, I can't really say, like, yo, play Vaxta. Like,
Yeah.
I could tell you to play Ryan 1v1s. But, like, the only way you're realistically going to get better at tank is if you just play a shit ton of Overwatch. Like, that is the way you're going to get better at main tank. And that's just the truth of the matter. You just need to play more. But overall, I think you're in a pretty decent spot for Overwatch 2. Especially if you learn how to be more aggressive. Like, you need to be very aggressive in Overwatch 2. Because it's kind of like that whole idea of damage is healing. Like, space is health. That's such a dumb... The off-brand version... It's like Dr. Pepper, Dr. Thunder. Damage is healing, damage is health. It's the Dr. Thunder of this differential.
Or Dr. K in my case. I have
Or
some
Dr.
K in the fridge.
Or Dr. Spice. Why are there so many doctors for soda?
I don't know. How many
know.
degrees do these people have? Anyway.
I don't know. But yeah, if you really want to get a lot better at, like, movement and understanding when situations happen, you just have to play a shit ton of the game. And that's why, like, a lot of main tanks are, like, grinders, because it's the only way you get better. And a lot of hit scans are like, oh, they just play a whole lot of Kovacs. A lot of support, a whole lot of Kovacs, or like Vaxta, or other training modes. Tanks don't really need to worry about that. It's all the mental games. So, do you have any questions before we end off this VOD?
Let me think about that for a second.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, you've probably explained it a good couple of times, but just to make sure, like, I can understand it, I guess. How? I'm trying to think about how I want to word
Yeah,
this.
take your time.
When, like, taking soft engages, right? Like you talked about earlier, like on first point when you said I could have stayed, like, up on that high ground, and I could have, like, dropped on their backline, and so would using my bubble there, you said that would be something I want to do because I can potentially, like, find a pick there, and would that be considered, like, maximizing my bubble usage? because that would be a good use of bubble.
Okay, so you don't use bubble every single time. Like,
Yeah.
it's this game where if I invest bubble, will that give me enough to force out Immortality Field? Or will that give me enough to actually kill the Zen and then jump out? Or another thing is, like, do I even need to use the bubble? Can I force out ammo without using bubble? It's a playing game. But that's one of those moments where it's like, if you stop using bubble in step 1 when you shouldn't, where like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, but you're actually not, and then you shift it to number 2, where it's like, oh, I can use bubble to be more aggressive now and get picks and get value. See, that's a good use of bubble.
Okay.
I don't think you should think about, how can I use this ability the most? And how can I get the most value? It's just kind of like, is it a good situation or a bad situation? Will I get value out of this or will I not? Until you get to an extremely high level of play, where you're like, if I wouldn't have used it there and I would have used it in this position, until you get to that point, you don't need to think about the min-max of bubble, because that's too much. I think you're at a level in which you just need to get to a very intermediate point in which you can then start thinking about that. And I think you'll see that as you start getting better at not using bubble at stupid times. I think you'll start seeing, because you're smart, when you understand what the hell you're doing, you can get a grasp of it very easily. Like, you understand the way to think through it. So I don't think I need to tell you how to think through that. I think I just need to bring it up to you and understand that these are the steps, and you'll be able to think through it. I trust in your intellectual capability that you will be able to take a step back and think about it when you get to that point. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah. It's not like you're going to use bubble every single time in that situation, but that is a situation in which using a bubble would be better had you not wasted it on another situation, is what I'm trying to say.
I got you.
Yeah. Do you have anything else right now at this moment?
I don't think so. I think that's all.
Okay, if you do have any other questions, I mean, we practically talk every week at this point. I don't know if that'll change during anything else. Do you have anything you need to plug? Any Twitches? I mean, I could just put in the description. I don't know if you have anything to plug.
I do stream sometimes on Twitch, but I mean, other than that, not really. I usually play like Overwatch on my Twitch, or I will be playing games like Red Dead, but that's mostly just for my friend to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can plug that if you want. But other than that, thank you so much, Paz.
Yeah, no problem.
Greatly appreciate this.
Yeah, and I hope this helps you out a lot. Just keep me updated on the whole process. So yes, I will try to remember, because I'll be at the beach. I will try to remember to put your link in the description. If I don't and someone is interested, just let me know in the comments. If you made it this far and you haven't liked and subscribed already, or not liked, but if you haven't subscribed already, that's pretty impressive. Maybe you should consider doing that, because a lot of people don't make it to this part. And if you didn't like already, I really would appreciate it, because maybe this knowledge would help another player that really needs to know that in really any elo, especially supports understanding how Monkey works. It's very, very important. But I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Until next time, I've got to peace out and pass out. I'll see you in the next one.